Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Ask Clever Endeavour, where all of our fans can send in questions to our Twitter or Discord and ask us questions. You can see I'm in a lovely new recording area that I found in the gameplay space. It's not an interrogation room, I swear. So the first question is from Index. Who of your team is the most hip?
No one. We're losers. All of us. There's no hipness.
I'm pretty sure Fabio's the most hip on the team. He's just with it when it comes to music and other things like that. Movies, he sees lots of movies. He probably doesn't play the most games in terms of being hip to games, but being hip to games isn't really a thing. So I'm gonna go with Fabio being most hip.
Grassy asks, what is your relationship with Vibe Avenue? How involved are you in the process of making music? They're pretty independent. It's almost always for levels, so we'll come up with a level and we'll send it to them, send them a bill with the level and say, here's level, here's a general theme we want, go. And then they do, and it's always good.
When Clever Endeavour started, when we were just 3 people and it was a game jam and we were trying to get the game going, Richard met Mathieu and FX, who are the lead guys at Vibe, and they got along with Richard, and we had a few meetings. I went and they made the first sound and music for the first demo of Ultimate Chicken Horse, and then they've just kept making the music ever since. So they do 100% of the sound. We just hook up the code that makes the sound work, and we send it off with some suggestions and some ideas, and they come up with everything. Though I guess that's not 1,000,000% true. Richard had a hand in some of the songs and a bit of the music, but mostly Vibe Avenue.
Why does your logo look like a pirate ship, and why did it take me so long to notice? It says MH4. I don't know why it took you so long. It's on you.
I guess maybe it took a while because it's not a great drawing of a pirate ship.
But it's a pirate ship because for some reason we thought the Endeavour sounded like the name of a boat. What it sounds like when you think of the Endeavour, it's a boat. So we drew it.
It is supposed to just look like a ship, not any particular type of ship. I don't know if there are pirates on it. But Richard, when the company was starting, had already named the company Clever Endeavour, and that was before anyone else had joined. And I remember kind of thinking about Clever Endeavour and like, how can we make this name just work better? Because at the time we didn't have a logo or anything. So I was thinking back on all of the ships that have been called Endeavour. So I think there was a space shuttle Endeavour, and I think there was a ship that sailed around the world called the Endeavour. So Clever Endeavour is a ship. So we go on a journey to make games on the Clever Endeavour.
How did you get into the game dev business? Asks Coca Duds. You made a game.
So I got into the game dev business by going to video game meetups in Montreal. There was a thing called the Montreal Game Society where people would get together and show demos of games. People talked about games and stuff they were making, and that's where I met Richard, and he was trying to start a game company. In terms of learning how to make games, I went to school for animation, so I learned how to animate stuff, and I learned a lot of 3D programs. And my whole life I've been doing 3D graphics and computer animation, so all of that kind of tied together and comes together in video games.
Schmatko asks, what would you do if you weren't a game dev? I don't know, and I don't want to think about it.
If I wasn't a game dev, I would probably be doing animation, 2D or 3D animation for something. I might be doing freelance animation for other people's projects, or maybe I'd be making short films. Maybe if this all fell apart, I'd try to get more into just coding, because I seem to like that now.
Sir Carrot asks, which character was the hardest to make? Well, for me, since I didn't do any of the art, none of them. They're all really easy for me.
I think the hardest character to make, at least for me, was the elephant. Just to get the shape of the elephant so that it looked like an elephant and was good in 2D and matched the style of the other characters and kind of fits the box that the other characters fit in. That was probably the hardest thing that I had to do.
Clarina asks, what is the inspiration behind the predefined text macros like ha 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 or
ampersand, $, star, ampersand?
just a bunch of characters that imply cursing?
So those predefined text macros were really inspired probably by the Rocket League quick emote chat. And when I had played Rocket League, I had imagined that the one that was a swear word, like from a comic, that should be random every time. So when I got to make my own game, I did make it random.
The main reason I have those is it lets you really easily communicate without having to type. It's quick, it's efficient, but also it lets us automatically translate that. So no matter who you're playing with, if they're playing in their language, they'll see the message you sent. And if we did our job, they'll know what you meant.
MLG Robo Jesus asks, when someone uses the quick chat to say stuff like good idea or whatever, does it get automatically translated?
See previous answer.
Everything does get translated, so you can speak with people in, I think, 12 or 13 different languages if you use our quick emote system.
Masterhand4444 asks, do any of y'all have Nintendo Switches at Clever Endeavour? If so, what's your favorite game? I have a Switch. Kyler has a Switch. Ben has a Switch. Jan has a Switch. My favorite game is probably Breath of the Wild. Nintendo really did a good job on that.
My favorite game on Switch right now is Tetris 99. I have gotten to second place in a Tetris 99 match, and many worse games in Tetris 99. I also play a lot of Mario Party and Mario Kart and all the Mario games on the Switch.
Index asks, which map took the longest to create? It's hard to say what was the longest because, we don't time it that way, but I think Nuclear Plant is the one we went back and iterated on the most.
Probably Nuclear Plant, just in terms of how many iterations it went through. It started out just as the elevator, and it was longer, and I don't think it worked as well, so we kept adding on more to the top. And I think even Nuclear Plant started in like a completely different form, where there was more like, I think it might have been more like a power plant dam, like a hydroelectric dam.
Kept changing all sorts of things in there, how tall it was, what was on the top, what was on the bottom. But I think in the end we got it.
Well, thank you for asking all those questions to Ask Clever Endeavour. If you want to ask us questions, you can ask them in the Discord, in the Ask Clever Endeavour Discord channel, or you can tweet at us on Twitter with the hashtag AskCleverEndeavour. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we answered all your questions, and see you around.